Hello and welcome to the Pixelated Realms Gamescast, your guide through the digital landscape, untangling the mysteries of your favorite titles and discussing the latest and greatest in video game fun. I'm your host, Alex Salerno, and alongside me is my brother Tyler and my good friend Dustin. What's up, guys?
Hello, hello. Good
What's
to be
up?
back, everyone, as always.
Another great morning in the video game world. How's it going with you guys? Are we playing a lot of good stuff lately?
Yeah, I mean, as
sure.
always, I've been jumping around.
Yeah,
Dustin,
that didn't sound very confident. Let me. You're like, yeah, all right, whatever.
No. Well, I've been gaming. Then again, I'm the one without the kids, so it gives me a little bit more freedom here. I've been back on the Star Wars kick. I think I mentioned that last week. So I've been trying to play Knights of the Old Republic 2, which is
such a
just
good game.
it's like honestly a perfect game. Although that first level, I gotta say, for anyone who remembers it, it's
The
a little
miner?
lengthy. Yeah, the mining station. It's a little lengthy in the puzzles. Like, I love the puzzles in the Knights of the Old Republic games, but like, it's like there's like 5 or 6 puzzles just to like get out of that first area, and like I'm always eager to get out of it. And I just
Yeah.
finished it, and it was awesome and it was great. But like I also was just kind of like, let me out of this place.
I love that game. I play it. I play Coder 1 and 2 probably every other year because I have it on my phone.
Yeah,
And so I sit and just play it on my phone. And
it's
I
a great
love that
phone
game.
port. It's actually
It
a
is.
really good phone port if anyone is interested.
And I forgot the guy's name, but the Sith Lord, the gray guy that's like all cracked
Yeah.
skin, is probably one of the coolest
He's so
Sith
cool.
in the entire game. Where they're like, every bone in his body is broken, and he literally keeps his body together with the Force. Like, he's such a determined, badass motherfucker that he's just
So
like,
scary.
you will not kill me. I will keep my body together just to kick your ass. And you're like, wow, you're the bad guy, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and like the whole like the insight into the old Republic is so fun, like because it's so up in the air right now, and like we have no idea where the Star Wars universe is going to go. And with this reveal, I don't want to spoil anything because I don't know if you guys have seen the Acolyte, but the last episode drops a pretty big piece of lore that was from the Legends and connects it back to things involving a certain master of a certain Sith, and a tragic story. So it's gonna be really interesting. I don't know. I just gotta say, although it's not video game related, I am enjoying like Disney's Star Wars thing. Like, I know it's not
Piece of
perfect,
shit.
but like it's not perfect. Like, the Acolyte wasn't perfect, but like just take the good and forget the bad. Like, it's okay to do that, So I don't know. I'm excited. I like the Star Wars canon expanding, and I've even been playing a little bit of Jedi Survivor. Because that has some really cool lore bits in it too that I believe are also canon, considered canon. So
Yeah,
I
it is.
think
The
it
games
is,
are-
yeah.
The games are canon. Yeah.
Yeah, after you recommended it last episode or the episode before, I bought it and downloaded it on the PlayStation. Even though it's on Game Pass, I
I was
wanted
gonna
to
say it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass, but my computer's still in the shop. I have to do a complete rebuild, which is why I'm still on my wife's computer. So I got it on the PlayStation because I wanted the trophies, and I'm playing like the first level, and I love it. So like, and
Wait, your
whole
whole computer got fried?
It's fried, yeah.
Like, so
It,
what went out that killed everything? Because that's not normal, right?
No, it's not normal. I actually had to take it to a shop, which was a hit to my ego, given that I'm a software engineer, and I was like, I can figure this out. But I took it to a guy, a local like repair shop, to get a second opinion, and they're like, the hardware is dead, the motherboard's dead. And I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. And our best guess is that there's a flaw in the current 13, 14th series Intel CPUs that created, and this is like a well-known thing, that creates like the power. I'm going to say some of the details here wrong, but basically the way that it handles the power through the core is misconfigured. And there's kind of this like fight right now between like motherboard manufacturers and Intel, and they're like trying to fix this problem, but it still exists. And I've had the problems with it continuously. And I think what happened though is that this problem has been happening so much on my computer that it just fried the motherboard to some degree.
You need to take
now
advantage
it
of
won't
this and file. You need to file the class action lawsuit against Intel, so you get the largest part of, of the award when this eventually happens. Because that sounds like a class action lawsuit waiting to happen.
Dude, I hope so.
There's also an issue because I have a 13,000 series Intel CPU as well, and there's some issue with Unreal Engine 5, right? And they know, and so that's why I ended up doing a firmware or a BIOS update on my motherboard, which of course is terrifying. So I'm like, I bought this really fancy up-to-date CPU, and now it's like not working. What the hell?
Yeah, I know, it's super annoying, and so yeah, I have to pull my motherboard and I have to get a new CPU because the guy tested it and they weren't working correctly.
It didn't kill your RAM
and I did try and flash
video card and everything though? Just the RAM and CPU?
No, everything else is good. So like,
okay,
that's good.
Yeah. So I mean, it's still an expensive. It's still going to be expensive. It's still going to be more than like $1,000 because I have a pretty top tier computer. It's one of the things in my life that I splurge on, and so I'm gonna have to do that. I'm switching over to AMD though because they are. I'm gonna wait. So at the end of the month, they're actually releasing a new chip, their 9000 series chip, which is on a new architecture called Zen 5, and it's supposed to be like 20% faster than the current Intel chip. And I was like,
interesting.
Sure, I have nothing against AMD. I like AMD, so I was like, okay, so I'm gonna give that a shot. I'll let you guys know how it goes, but that means my computer is going to be out of whack for a couple of weeks and probably longer because it's going to take me a while to drain my coolant loop and like get all that shit installed. So,
all right, well that's your what you went up to. You used all your time, Alex. Sorry, we had to cut you
I did.
off.
I wasted all my time. I've been playing Jedi Survivor. That's what I've been doing. All right.
No, I have been playing. I actually have been gaming more this week than I have like recently. Because I've got like fully sucked into Elden Ring, but so I'm like around level 70 right now.
Hell yeah!
And like I was really struggling. You helped me get past Godric, but then after like I got past Godric, I've kind of like taken off, and I beat the Rhea Academy, that full area. I went
the mother. What's her name?
Yeah, Renala.
The Moon
I think.
Mother.
Yeah, and then I went and beat Radon. I fucked that guy up. And then I went
Did you do it during the festival?
Yeah. So I had to summon all the guys.
Yeah.
So it was cool. Yeah, it was a cool fight. And then I went farther north of the academy and beat one other person. Oh, I did the quest line for Beald, the half wolf guy.
Oh, Blade.
Yeah, Blade. So I did I started the Rainy quest line.
You started it, trust me.
Yeah. So I finished his section, and then now
that one's definitely not done.
Yeah, now the Rainy section starts, and so I haven't started that. But I wanted to get past the half wolf guys because I heard that like hers takes you like all over the place, and I didn't want to be somewhere that I could have been doing her side quests for. But after I did that, I was kind of confused as to where to go. I've been like, where the fuck? Because I looked online and I was like, oh, the Moon Chick is an optional boss. And then everything just felt like optional bosses. And I was like, how the fuck do I get back on like this actual storyline? So then I was just wandering around because I read a bad article that told me that the next place I needed to go was Mount Gilmer. And then I was like, so I went up there wandering around. I was super pissed because I couldn't find anything. I finally found the ladder that goes up that wall. And but then I got my ass handed to me like this fucking beast at the top of the ladder. It just fucked me up. And then I also got my ass handed to me by like in the castle that's underneath the bridge. And the guy, the boss, has like a picture of the really difficult chick boss. What's her name? Melania. Yeah, Melania. So that guy like 3-shot me, and then the beast guy 3-shot me. So I was like, what level should I be to be here? So I looked it up, and it's like, we recommend being like level 90. And I was like, okay, I'm way under leveled to be in Mount Gilmer. What am I doing? I did go through like that shaft area where they have the chariots, and I got like a really cool set of armor down there at the bottom. The volcano, like, I don't know, underground area.
Have you been in the underground area that has the starry sky?
I don't. Yeah. that Mount or the Eternal City area and all that? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I've explored a shit ton down there. So I looked it up. Right now I'm supposed to go to the capital and fight one of the bosses there, kind of like keeps you going. But I ran into like this tree sentinel guy at like the gateway to get into the capital, and like he fucked me up. And I was like, shit, dude, am I at like another point where like I'm gonna have to like go grind a little bit? So I don't know. I'm a little frustrated because I've spent so much time exploring right now and then just doing like side stuff that like and like that frustration of like where am I supposed to go, that I'm feeling like a little bit burnt out, you know, where I'm like, do I want to actually keep playing, or I'm like, or did I kind of experience Elden Ring and it's cool and I get it, so I'm at like this like crossroads and I have to decide if I want to like keep powering on, because I don't like grinding levels to have to get
you're
past
pretty
stuff.
far into the game. I mean, you're probably a little more way than half, but like at this point, it's like, but you know, it's okay to take breaks from FromSoft games because they're so like frustrating.
Well, I feel like I'm just finally starting to get better at the combat. Another thing that's pissing me off is I don't have Smithstone 3s to like get to the next level. I have all these like 4, 5, and 6s just stocked up, but I don't have enough 3s to get myself to be able to use those. And I have a bunch of the somber ones too, but those don't work. So I'm like, God, I'm gonna fucking go like hunt down like smithing stone 3s just so I can like keep leveling up my weapon. And again, like that idea of just like having to grind to look for these things like kind of pisses me off. So I don't know. I'll probably keep playing it, but I'm a little annoyed right now.
Well, let me know if you need me to jump in and help. But
yeah, I might have to jump in and help me beat this tree sentinel guy because he's a fucking monster. So
yeah, sure. Did you fight Moog just outside the capital?
I don't know. Is that the?
It's an optional fight, but he's the guy that like jumps in when there's like a bunch of corpses just outside the capital. There's like a battlefield, and he'll kind of he's the guy you fight in the beginning. But
I think I just ran past him because somebody like I was going up this long staircase into the capital and something like landed and like fucking like took half my health, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna fuck with that. I just like ran past it on my horse. I'm like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that was probably him.
Yeah,
that's an optional fight.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's another game that came out I wanted to talk about last week that we didn't, is the new Getcha game, Zenless Zone Zero.
Ooh,
Have you guys seen that at all?
Yeah, the new Wayverse game.
It's the same people who do Honkai Star Rail. And it's
Genshin
like,
Impact.
it's a Getcha game, so it's all about, you know, polling characters and trying to get these characters and upgrading them. But I played a little bit of it, and it has this like very like Persona-esque like style to it, where it's like you're like kind of like, I don't even know how to put it, like you're traveling through like TV systems in this kind of like retro like neon hyper world. And but right, it all comes down to the gameplay. Is the gameplay fun? And so, but the gameplay takes the form of like you enter into these battles, you have a team of 3 characters, right? And you are playing one character. So say character A has a sword, you're smacking them with their sword, but then you can hit a button and switch to your next character and create these like combos. So you'd be like slashing them with a sword, switch characters to the person with guns, you're shooting everyone with guns, switch characters to the person with a hammer, you put, you know, you bring the hammer down, and you create these like combination chains that have special effects to defeat the enemies. And you know, just like basic for, you know, in the hour or two I played of the game, I was like, I can see this being fun, and I can see this being fun of like, oh, I got this character, let's try this combo, I can't clear this level, let's try this combo of characters. So like the potential seemed like there, and to be honest, I was pretty impressed with Honkai Star Rail, despite it being a Getcha game, which, you know, I think it has its own issues at its core. So yeah, I got to admit, it's kind of cool to have a game that you could be on PC, you can log off PC, go onto your phone, log off on your phone, go to your iPad, you know, and just switch consoles at a whim. So, you know, for people who enjoy games like that, I think it's been going pretty well for them. But I'm gonna keep trying to play it, and we'll see how it ends up.
Yeah, Honkai Star Rail won Mobile Game of the Year last year, I think it was, or 2 years ago. I mean, Hoyoverse also
fair.
makes Genshin Impact, which is massively popular.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Yeah. Is that
I was
Hoyoverse? Is that?
Yeah,
Hoyoverse,
Hoyoverse.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so the Zenless Zone Zero, it just came out last week. If I was to ever work for a video game company, Hoyo would definitely be on my list. I just honestly like, and I guess this is like resident waifu shit, but I love the art style of their games. Like it looks so anime-esque, you know. Like the games just look awesome. The character design is awesome. So I played
I mean, the
Honkai Star
gameplay
Rail
is
a little
pretty
bit.
fun too, and it's
I enjoy the gameplay for Honkai Star Rail. My only issue is like I struggle to stay like have an
Engaged.
attention span to do like mobile games, right? So I played Honkai Star Rail on my phone. I was like, oh, this is really dope, but after like 40 minutes, I was like, I just don't like gaming on my phone that much. So I need to install it on the computer, and I feel like I would definitely play it the whole thing. But I don't know.
I mean,
mobile
I
gaming
installed
for me is just
Honkai.
like,
I was
Well-
like super. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna wrap us up because we'll definitely trail on this topic as long, forever.
we can talk about
But
Zenless
it's
as
time for
a
us-
game of whatever the year thing.
We'll do a review.
Yeah, we could do a review, if you guys want to.
But I heard we had a few questions, so we should probably
Yes,
get into those.
So, if you can ask us questions or leave a comment at pixelatedrealms.org/ask, and we'll read it at the show right now. So, let me pull it up. Sorry, I'm not prepared.
Transition.
Okay, transition. I gotta
Smooth
fix.
transition.
My notes got all jumbled.
Smooth.
Yeah, I'm not good at those yet. So.
Smooth operator.
We have a few questions, and we have a question from a new listener, which is exciting.
Aw.
So, first couple ones are from Ralph,
All right.
a friend of the show. So, what was the most memorable and favorite Easter egg you've ever discovered in a video game? That's a really good one.
I can
Yeah.
get started.
Okay, do it, because I got to think about it.
My favorite Easter egg ever. I mean, there's like a lot of really good ones, and I'm sure I'm gonna forget. But the one that immediately stands out to me, like the one that when you asked this question, the first thing that popped in my head, Mega Man X. You have to do the mole level 5 times. You have to jump onto the top. You also have to have all upgrades and all health packs. If you do all of that, when you jump on the 6th time, you can enter an upgrade and get the Hadoken move for your Mega Man. And it's the same down right X as what is it is in Street Fighter. And it's a one-shot kill to every character in the game. That's my most memorable Easter egg for sure. It's a one-shot kill to every boss. It's very memorable.
Nice.
Anyone
don't
else
have
got
one.
another?
I got one. It's I don't know if we would consider this an Easter egg, but the cow level from Diablo 2 is to me
I like
because
that.
it's just so
Good one.
it's such a classic, and it was supposed to
Ridiculous.
be like a secret, and then everyone ended up just using it as this farming level. So it kind of like became something larger than what it was supposed to be, but it was supposed to just be this like silly Easter egg.
Love it. Dustin,
that's-
you got one?
That's my favorite, most memorable.
No, I'm like looking it up right now too, just like best Easter eggs. See if there's like
That's
one
okay.
that,
Alright.
well, if like one that like,
Alright.
oh yeah, that is really dope. I remember that. But I just going through this list, I'm seeing
good.
this one about Jar Jar being in Carbonite, which I think that's just pretty funny.
Nice.
But yeah, no. I don't have
Well,
one.
if you think of something, we'll come. Feel free to bring it back up. We're gonna go to the next question.
Yep.
This is also from Ralph. What is the longest you have gone without gaming? That's a good question. That's easy for me though because nowadays not very long. Maybe like a week at most because I'm traveling or something like that. But even then, I usually bring like my phone or like a mobile system. But when I was in the army, obviously it was very difficult to game, so it would be like months at a time. And I admit, like, I got like itchy, like addiction, like uneasy about it. And I'm like, I want to go play something. Even then, we would play like some people would go to Best Buy and like buy TVs, and they'd be like in the barracks, which is like not designed for big TVs, and then have like their PlayStation. And we'd be like coming back from the field and playing Call of Duty and stuff. It'd be like really hilarious. But anyways, so it's probably like months, but it was uncomfortable. What do you guys?
Dustin?
Yeah, I'd say like since I was 10, I probably haven't gone more than a month. I get the absolute longest.
For me, I mean, in college, I didn't really game a lot because I didn't really have access to it. So I don't know. I could have gone like half a year, but once I got back into gaming, yeah, sure. I mean, we have
that's
our
a long
phones
time.
now.
I'm actually surprised.
I mean, I don't know. When I was like 18 through like 22, I didn't really game that much. So, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Tyler, but you're not allowed to be on the podcast then. That's a requirement.
I was studying how to become a film or a gaming composer. It was, you know, I was had other things going on.
All right, next question. This is from Sam. Hello, new listener here. So you may have already answered this, as I haven't gone back and listened to everyone yet, but I plan on it. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that.
Wow.
What is your all-time favorite game? The one you think of when someone says video games?
Ooh, Sam, this is a good question.
That's a good question. And there's another question in there, but I'll wait until we answer this one.
Okay. Alex, get started.
So I have two that I'm constantly in conflict, but The Witcher 3 and Elden Ring, in my opinion. And I know that they're pretty new, and so some people will be like, "Oh, that's like, you know, recency bias." But I do think video games are getting better over time. Like, there are a lot of classic video games that I would put in my top favorite, but like, you know, there's lessons learned over time that we've applied to newer, more modern video games. So I do think it makes sense that a kind of a newer game is better. So I'd say probably The Witcher 3 is probably the one I'd bet my money on.
That's a good choice. Dustin, what do you think?
I think my favorite game of all time is Warcraft 3.
Ooh, good
I
one.
think it's great. But if I think like beyond that, like World of Warcraft also, like World of Warcraft arguably like the greatest game ever made, long-standing. I mean, the fucking proof is in the pudding and the numbers, right? Like, I mean, it's hard to top.
It's funny because you say that, because I was also like on the fence of saying World of Warcraft. I don't think there's any video. First and foremost, there's no video game I've spent more time on, without a doubt. I mean, there's no calculations there. I've never spent tens of thousands of hours on anything else like that. And World of Warcraft, it's not that it's had some bad moments, but it's had a lot more good moments, and it has a high quality. There's only a couple games in my life where I would like wake up on a day I had off and be like, I cannot wait to spend 12 hours today just sitting in this world doing things. Like, that's all I care about. But I mean, just to give us a little bit of diversity here, I'm going to go ahead and it's funny because The Witcher 3 is also on my list of the greatest games of all time. So Sam, you have two amazing options right there, World of Warcraft and The Witcher 3. I'm going to have to just add in another CD Projekt Red game, and it's got to be Cyberpunk 2077.
I knew you were going to say that.
I don't know. It's the most immersive game I have ever played. I just love it so much. I think there's actually a lot of potential in that game. Still, like, I think, like, I cannot wait for the second one. So, yeah, those are three incredible games. You could spend the rest of your life playing them. And just thank you so much, Sam, for asking us the question. Please ask more.
Yeah, so there is another question here from Sam. Have any of you worked in the gaming industry, and have you made your own games before? What is it? If not, what would you... Oh, it got cut off. What would you make... Oh, why did that go... Sorry, hold on. Technical issues. Oh, boy.
Excel.
Oh, boy. There we go. Okay. Okay, let me start over. Let's start with the first one. Have any of you worked in the gaming industry? So
Yes.
Tyler and I have not, but Dustin has. Dustin, you want to give us a very quick 2-minute or 2-second?
Yeah, I
pitch?
do communications in the video game industry, so I've worked with top publishers in indie games, EA. I will help launch multiple Battlefield, Battlefronts, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So I run media relations and communications for a shit ton of games over the last 10 years.
Yes, but Tyler and I do want to be in the industry. I am a career software engineer, and Tyler is a audio engineer, or I don't know, how would you describe yourself? Audio musician person?
Yeah, a composer and audio engineer.
Okay, yeah. So we have studied the video games and stuff. And so like the next one is, have you ever made your own games before? The answer is no, but we
Alex
do want
has.
to. Well, I have, but I don't have any published ones. I don't have anything published. I've made games, but I haven't like made anything.
And I've done little
out there.
soundtracks for said games.
Yeah, and if not, what would you make if you did make a game? I've been tinkering with Game Maker lately after hearing about it from YouTube that's making my own game and got me inspired. Thanks. I can't wait for more. Sunshine Sam. Thank you, Sam, for the great question. I would love to make a game.
Made my day.
And I'm actually in the process of working on making a game, like I always am. And Game Maker is a great studio. It's great for 2D games. I've used it before. There are plenty of games made in that. It's very accessible. It's great. It does what it does very well. So, keep up with it. That's great. And reach out to us on social media if you have any questions or you wanna shout yourself out. I'd love to promote you. But what would I like to make? I have so many games in the pipeline that I'm making. Like I have too many ideas. Ideas are cheap, but making them are easy. Right now, I'm working on a mobile-ish side-scroller runner game that is like, kind of like Mega Man-ish, but the character is constantly moving. And so I'm kind of working on that right now. But it has nothing to do with like me making my perfect game. That's more of me making what I feel like I can with my skill set and working up like new things. I don't know. What about you guys? Real quick, 2-second answer.
Yeah, I've always had a dream of like creating a game that was like sort of like Gauntlet plus like RPG. So like I love RPGs. I like progression. So something like it's almost like a Dungeons and Dragons multiplayer game. They've had things like that before, but yeah, something like that would be my dream.
Yeah.
I would just make anything that's like easy and gimmicky that I can make money off of.
Oh my God! Get him out of here,
Yeah.
Sam. Veto him out of this podcast.
Hey, that's
right
because
I think
I've
it'd be
already
fun-
been in the industry for 10 years, so I'm jaded, okay?
You
Now
know
it's
the
just
reality.
making
Yeah, you're
that dough.
jaded.
Right.
See that money.
I mean,
I
the
would love
unfortunate reality is dough is also important. And
Yeah. I would love to do like an episode, maybe a special episode on like what if we were to make a game, like what would that
That'd
game
be cool.
and do like a really detailed like description of a game. I think that would just be a fun exercise.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to move on to another question. So we have a lot of questions today, which is awesome. So please write in if you're listening and you're like, man,
Yes.
we love the questions. This is from our Uncle Patrick. Hey guys, now that all of the Summer Games Fest stuff is done and any fall games have been announced, what are you most looking forward to? Thank you for setting
what
us
a
up
segue!
What a segue. This is what we were going to talk about in our final part. Any for sure buys, or is this year just... personally, I'm eager for Star Wars Outlaws and maybe Assassin's Creed Shadows. For those that game on PC, do you switch between... Oh, this is a separate question. So I'm going to hold off on...
Let's do the separate
I'm going to hold
question.
off on that first question because that's going to be our main topic. And so we will answer that thoroughly.
In a moment.
And we're kind of running out of time. So for those that are on gaming, that game on PC, do you switch between mouse and keyboard and controller, or just stick with one? If you mix it up, what games are mouse and keyboard, and what do you use controller? Have you ever done mouse and keyboard on a console? Love the show, Pat. Oh, and thanks for Tyler for mentioning Unicorn Overlord. That one looks right up my alley.
Thank you. It's great, Uncle Patrick. You should definitely get it. See, now
Also-
I'm saying it.
Also, what socials are you guys most active on, and what would you like to see engagement activity for the show? So that's a follow-up. Let's do the first question. So the mouse and keyboard. I'm mostly mouse and keyboard on the computer, but I do use my... I have a Scruff gaming controller that I use, and it's the best controller I've ever owned in my entire life. And I'll use that for like console games, like platformers or kind of games that I feel like like if I were to play like Horizon Zero Dawn on my computer, which I don't, but something like that, like I play with a controller. Shooters though, I always play mouse and keyboard. Like I can't go back. What about you guys?
My answer is almost exactly the same. So mouse and keyboard. I will do mouse and keyboard for anything that relates to shooting in any way, pointing and clicking. I will use a controller for I will use a PlayStation controller for any Souls-like games or anything that is like super platform heavy, like Hollow Knight or like Cuphead. And then I will use an Xbox controller for driving games, unless I have my steering wheel, which I do have.
Nice.
So I have it pretty
only.
specific.
Yeah, mouse and keyboard only for everything. Controllers are for pussies.
Nice. All right. And then what socials are we on? So our main social, I would consider, YouTube is for sure kind of our main. We do as much there. I'm most active on Threads, so as well as our Threads social media account, which is Pixelated Realms Podcast. We do have an Instagram as well. I've been a little lacking on that, I admit. So I would probably say YouTube is number 1. Instagram is probably number 2, and Threads. But I don't know if you guys agree or not.
And before we transition, I did want to say, folks, I've been trying to post a lot of like quizzes and polls and questions just to drive some community engagement on our YouTube. So please feel free to go check those out. I've been trying to post one a day. I would love engagement and comment on, let us know what you want to see next.
All right, cool. So before we dive into our main segment, we just want to say that we really appreciate all of our followers and subscribers, especially because our numbers are relatively low, compared to like that. So we know that those who are actually engaging, like, really give a shit, and we really appreciate you guys and like love the interaction and love the questions. We post new episodes every Tuesday morning on podcast services and YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at Pixelated Realms Podcast. So we just want to say thank you. So our main topic today is we want to say, okay, what is our most anticipated games from the year? So it's kind of mid-year. So we're at that point of where we can kind of look backwards and say, what were the games that we think could have potential for Game of the Year so far? And what's our most anticipated games going forward? So
I think it was, I mean, to say the least, we were actually a little, when we were taking a look at this list, I think the last 6 months of this year, we were a little surprised how little there was. I mean, there's still some standouts, but I think a majority of this is actually what we're still looking forward to. So, I mean, I'll get us started. Do you want to start with what we've enjoyed, or do you want to start with what we're looking forward to?
Let's start with what we've enjoyed.
Okay. So, I mean, to be honest, like I said, we were going through the list, and I was actually a little surprised because most of the games I was like, oh, this is what I enjoyed. It was 2023. The two I'm going to call out are Helldivers 2 for its unexpected success and just, I mean, it was a pleasant surprise of a game to have, and I put in a good 30 to 40 hours and felt like I got my money's worth and had a good time, and I also feel like I can go back to it when I want to and enjoy it. So Helldivers 2 is going to be my first one, and I think it deserves credit. I think there's an argument that maybe it was a little overrated for a while, but we're not going to get into that. But secondly, I'd like to call out Unicorn Overlord just for being an amazing turn-based HD 2.5 pixel, whatever we want to call that, game. It's really incredible, and I'm still diving into it, and I'm still taking my time. So those are the two that I've really enjoyed so far that released in 2024.
Awesome. Dustin, what do you think?
I don't have any. Honestly, I haven't played a ton of games this year that are like new, like the new hot shit games. I'll just say the games that I'm still really looking forward to playing that came out this year already would be Stellar Blade. I did play the demo, the first hour. It was fantastic. Like we kind of talked about a little bit. I'll just stick with the Stellar Blade and give this little reasoning here. Elden Ring at times feels like a little too chaotic and being hard for the sake of being hard. It's From Software game. I get it. Stellar Blade fits more into the Ghost of Tsushima level for me, where there's a lot of different move sets you can learn, skill trees that you can build out, and you can kind of master the moves to defeat your enemies. Where I guess Stellar Blade and Ghost, you master your moves to defeat the boss. Where I feel in Elden Ring, it's more learning the boss's move sets and how to dodge them and then just use your attack, your more standard attack. Maybe that's because I'm not far enough in Elden Ring still, but I feel like that's the major difference. I like the Stellar Blade Ghost of Tsushima thing more, where there's moves, and I can like learn how to fight with my character and like combo, and it's very challenging combat, but not like feeling like nearly impossible at times.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh. What about you, Alex? What have you enjoyed so far, and what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, so far, I would say I agree. I think Helldivers 2 is probably the closest we could get to what I would consider like Game of the Year contender, but I don't honestly think it's going to win. It's a great game. You know, I love that game.
Yeah,
but it's just this. Oh, hi,
Aww.
sweetheart. Let's get it interrupted.
He's so
You wanna come here?
cute.
Did you escape Mama somehow?
I just hear
Up.
Dada.
Yeah, I heard it too.
Uh,
All right, well,
She's
we got
on
this
the
going.
podcast.
Talk
Hi,
about-
Nene.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
Aw.
Helldivers
Nice.
2. I would say shout out to Hellblade 2. Probably the most beautiful game I've ever played. And then the Elden Ring DLC, but it's DLC, so I would not put that in the contender for Game of the
Yeah.
Year. But
I'm mixed about that too. I mean, we can talk about that a little bit. It's like a lot of these games that in the list. Sorry, my niece is on camera. So a lot of the games on these lists, like that, the highest rated ones were like DLCs, and I don't know. I think we were all kind of agreed that a DLC is not like a contender for Game of the Year. It's a DLC. It's adding to something. So like Alan Wake 2 had the DLC that came out. That was I haven't played
Yeah.
it yet. Alex, have you played it?
I literally started it, but I haven't really gotten far enough into it. Like I literally
Okay.
just like got to where I needed to be to do it, but
Because we've had that one, we've had the Final Fantasy 16 DLC, and we've had the Elden Ring DLC. And as far as I know, all of them have been good, with Elden Ring kind of
technically
seeming
have
to
also
be the
had
best.
the Final Shape for Destiny 2, if you want to count that as expansion content.
Right, the
Yeah.
Final Shape.
Which
Yeah.
also is
I mean,
very
people are
highly
giving that
received.
insanely good ratings, Alex.
Yeah.
okay. So I did play through the Final Shape. I played through the campaign. The campaign was really good. It's just hard. It's kind of confusing in a way for me, where like how do I kind of rate that, given that it's like a live service game with like a campaign. So it's like there's like this like single player campaign element to the game that's mixed in with this like multiplayer. And so like I would give the campaign like probably like, you know, on a number scale like a 9 out of 10 or something like that, but it's mixed in with the live service parts, which aren't as good, which pull it down like a little bit. So it's really hard for me to say. I wouldn't call it Game of the Year though. It didn't leave that kind of mark on me. It did in a way because I've been playing for 10 years and this was the finale, and I do think it's actually leading up to a Destiny 3, even though that they have like future DLC plans for this one. They're like very small packages and they're not story based. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like a Destiny 3. So like this ended on a really strong note, and it was very emotional for me because I was like, this is a game I've been playing for 10 years. But from a like objective perspective, I don't think it's in the. I think maybe it'll be nominated, but I don't think it has a chance.
Okay,
So
before
it
we
kind
move
of
on
sounds
from
like
this
a
topic,
theme. Yeah.
sorry. Okay, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, before I move on from this topic of like best games that we've seen so far, we're talking about like DLC versus non-DLC or expansion content being Game of the Year. What do we think about remakes? Because does Final Fantasy VII Rebirth have a shot, and should it be considered for Game of the Year?
So, but here's the thing. So, to me, what they did to Final Fantasy VII is like almost enough to call it another game. Like that to me was like a remake.
Yeah, it's a remake, not a
yeah.
remaster.
So
right?
remake, remaster are different, right?
Yeah.
A remaster is a new skin on the same game. A remake is the same game but new engine.
You're literally building it from the
Yeah.
ground up again.
ideas.
I think
Yeah.
a remake can be considered a remaster. No.
Yeah.
I think we're all on the same page. But the thing is, you can still have a really good remaster. So, for example, do we consider Resident Evil 2 a remaster or a remake?
That's a
It's a
remake.
remake technically, but did they change as much as they did in Final Fantasy
I'm going to
VII?
move us
No.
on. We only have like 5 minutes left, and I want to get to our anticipated.
Okay, so well, do you want me to get started? Because
Yeah, go
Do
for
it.
Okay, so do it.
Do it.
Okay, so anticipated games. So it sounds like a theme among all of us is that there's nothing in the first half of 2024 that we really think is going to be a game of the year. So we got to look ahead. And there is some exciting games. The three that are most exciting to me are, the first one's going to surprise no one. It is going to be Space Marines 2. It just looks amazing. We've recently been getting trailers and information drops, so it's just the hype is building. The first game was amazing. The second game seems like it's going to follow suit. The second one is going to be Star Wars Outlaws. I just love Star Wars. I love like games where you're like a bounty hunter trying to go around doing quests. So, I know everyone's trying to like drag it through the mud already with these weird like, oh, it takes 5 minutes to cross the map. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, they're like, oh, what? That's not a good thing. And I'm like, dude, just stop. Like, hold your judgment.
Yeah, it's way too early to
tell. Hold
your
judgment, man.
You don't know the density.
5 minutes could be the right amount of time. It could be the wrong. You don't know. So I'm waiting for that one to come out. And then lastly, I'm anticipating Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is a really, really detailed RPG. I don't know when I'll get to play that one because it's such a long and drawn-out game, but I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
What do you think?
What about you, Dustin?
So I don't know. I don't think this will be a Game of the Year contender. It's not like they're triple. It is AAA, but
most anticipated.
Yeah. So Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. I think that will be a ton of fun. Looking forward to it. First time Zelda will be the protagonist, main protagonist. So yeah, it's interesting. Like I love Zelda games, and so I'm looking forward to playing that. Again, I don't think it will be like a Game of the Year contender, but it'll be a lot of fun and successful, no doubt. I do think that Assassin's Creed Shadows will probably be a Game of the Year contender. I hope so. It looks really, really good. I actually I'm glad we're talking about this today because I actually saw something yesterday online, and like some like very well-known historian, a Japanese historian from Japan, actually like was like, yes, he is a fucking samurai. The main, because there's all the controversy about the black character.
Yasuke? Or,
yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, and so they were talking about how he was given, like, a sword and a residence, and that only happens to samurais, and there is, like, documented proof of this happening in history. And so hopefully that, like, squashes the fucking shit entirely at this point about that. But, yeah, game looks really cool. I love games based in, like, old Japan like this. So, yeah, it will be my first Assassin's Creed game, and I think it will be really good. I'm hoping.
Wow. We should do a stream then. I didn't know this was your first. I forgot. It's one of those things that's so shocking that I was like, no, that can't be right. So my most anticipated. So I'm just going to list off like some of the big ones, and then I'll talk about what I'm looking forward to. So the new Diablo 4 expansion is coming. Star Wars Outlaws, Space Marines 2, Assassin's Creed. Let's see, the new Dragon Age, Avowed, and Alone in the Dark were kind of key ones that I saw. The ones that I'm most excited for, I think, are pretty much in line with what you guys are saying. Like Star Wars Outlaws, I really hope that's good. I'm really excited for that one. I'm gonna play the shit out of it. Star Wars. Space Marine 2, I really hope is awesome, and it looks awesome so far. And I think that'll be a great game for us to co-op. Assassin's Creed Shadow looks awesome. I don't know why everybody is like so up in arms about it. They're just being dumb.
Don't either.
It looks really cool, and I'm excited for that one.
Can't wait to play Assassin's Creed in Japan. Oh my god, I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, so those are my three that I think are the best contenders also for Game of the Year. Honestly, I think one of those three is probably going to be it. I think it's going to be those three nominated plus probably Destiny. I don't expect Destiny to get it, but I do think that those four will be the nominations, at least so far.
Yeah. I mean, unless one of those stands out among the rest in a surprising way, this is going to be a weird year because
this tight call.
It's weird, man. I mean, there's no like, I don't see any Mario on this list. I don't see any like Zeldas on this list. Like, it's a weird year. These are all. Space Marines is not a major title. Star Wars is, but I have a feeling Outlaw is not going to be an 11 out of 10. But don't get me wrong, I think it could still be good. But like, So I think this is weird. I think it's going to be a bit of a weird year.
It's going to be like Disney content on Disney Plus. I'm sorry, Star Wars content on Disney Plus. There's so little content coming out that it's going to make it seem better than it actually is.
Oh.
So you're saying you get some good and you get some bad.
I'm saying that all the Star Wars Disney content that's super hyped is actually just okay because the movies are so fucking bad. The most recent movies, that it just makes everything look good.
Okay, well, you can join us on our
episode.
after show of Tyler telling Dustin he's wrong about film. Gotcha. Join us next week.
I actually don't think that's too far off. But, okay, so thank you all for listening. We're going to wrap it up there. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to be notified when we post new episodes. We post new episodes every Tuesday morning on podcast services and YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at Pixelated Realms Podcast. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Bye.